So I have a feeling this will be both cringe-inducing and fun, depending on the repair. I have a feeling we may both laugh and cringe on this one. But it's gonna be good. I know, Eki. I know, this is gonna hurt you. I know, this is going to hurt your soul. I know. Okay. Let's take a look. Chat. Prepare your cringe.
I'm Sandro, this is Juanito, and he worked at dealerships for 10 plus years before I hired his first clip. Lug nuts popped off right after I left the dealership.
Chrysler, Dodge, Platinum Dodge.
All the lug nuts?
Did a tire rotation.
Oh, all of them.
I almost got on the highway.
Well, it didn't look like all of them. The back tires looked like it still had them.
All the lug nuts?
Did a tire rotation.
Oh,
those look like they're still in place, so it looks like just the front left tire. At least so far.
all of them.
I almost got on the highway, but I needed gas. Got lucky. I got my 2 babies in the car.
Oh, man. Oh, that sucks.
And my wife's pregnant.
No. Well, that was putting in work, though.
6 lug nuts?
Yeah, that's wild.
They're probably just hand threaded on.
What steps would you take to make sure that...
Like, I'm not a mechanic, and I still know that when you're putting lug nuts on a car, hand tight them, do hand tight all the way, use either, if you've got a power tool for it, use a power tool, or if you've got just tire iron, use that. Tighten them down a little bit in a star pattern. Lower the car back on the tire, and then tighten the lug nuts up in a star pattern. I'm not a mechanic, and I know that. It's not hard. And then, of course, you're supposed to retighten your lug nuts after you've driven, not long. It's maybe like 20 or 30 miles. I think you're supposed to retighten. I forget.
that car is leaving properly. Because obviously this guy didn't take those steps.
Yeah, there would be
Like
a standard procedure that we'd always do, and it got pushed on us pretty hard on the early years. 6 lug nuts, you would have to drive them in by hand. You would have to go ahead and you obviously would hit them with the impact, and then you'll go ahead and recheck your work again with the torque wrench to make sure that you actually got all the lug nuts in. And this will be for every single wheel that you'll be doing this to. You'll triple check it sometimes. So what I can tell you from what I can see off of this, I mean, from a dealership standpoint, you are always in a rush. There's no way around it. You're always in a rush because you want to jump on that next job. So maybe this guy forgot to double check his work, and unfortunately this ended up happening to him.
I have a question. Has that ever happened to you at a dealership where you left something like that loose?
In the beginning years when we were lube techs, yeah, we would run into that. And for that reason, they would always tell us, torque them down, and they always implemented, having a torque wrench around all the time. But yes, this does happen at the dealer.
Question again. Did it happen to you though, Juanito?
To me, in my early years, it did once.
There you go. This is real mechanic stuff, not that fake. Let me get that next clip.
He almost put $1,700 worth of work in his Chevy that it didn't need.
Brought it to us. They had it at a dealership where they live, and they were told it needed fuel injectors.
Okay.
Fuel injectors on this car are pretty costly, pretty time consuming, so they wanted a second opinion. Yeah, you can see that rear oxygen sensor was the one reporting correctly. You can see all the soot and carbon built up from it running extremely rich. I'll still flow the injectors for the guy just to prove it out, but he doesn't need injectors.
So a couple $100 instead of 1,700, basically.
So homeboy went from the dealership to another.
Yeah. Shadow, which one are you talking about the lawsuit for? The lug nuts or the dealer trying to charge him $1,700? Because you'd be hard pressed to be able to do a lawsuit for that one. No. He was wanting, the dealer was wanting to charge him $1,700, and then he took it to this other mechanic for a second opinion, and this mechanic just saw it was a faulty oxygen sensor. So the lug nut one, yeah, that certainly could potentially be a lawsuit. It could be. But I don't know. I don't know if they have this, if the dealer has one of those waiver things that you sign I don't know. I'd say potentially could be one, but I don't know. It would depend on what happened. If nothing happened, it would be. I don't know if you get a lawsuit out of it or not. Oh, really? Yeah, I'd say Tysell, I'm guessing maybe like a couple $100. That would be my guess. Oh, that sucks, Shadow. Yeah. 5K? Okay, not bad. Not bad. So, yeah, maybe he could sue the dealership for 5K. Oh, it was causer. Okay, so because that guy didn't actually have any substantial damage, maybe like man, I suppose like if he had to get it towed back to the dealership to get it properly, the tire properly seated back on there and the lug nuts tightened, have them pay for the tow. I'd say that'd be the most he'd probably get out of it.
The shop.
That's misdiagnosis right there.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, we're all human, but when it comes down to recommendations, you have to be careful because this is always something that's going to come up. Somebody is going to review what you're recommending if they feel like, you're just trying to sell something.
Yeah.
They're going to look at it. And somebody usually is in charge of looking at it. That it made it this far is kind of unfortunate because usually it's always contained within inside the dealership.
Your main guy would tell you, hey, you know what? Like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah, Shadow, giving him a scathing review on whatever review site you have access to, that'll work because you know what? When I had to review or when I had to find a mechanic for my old car, I 100% looked at reviews. I did because I will look and see what people have gone through, whether or not it's, either they're good, they're bad, or if there's something that I may need to take a chance on. So it doesn't feel like it, but reviews can work. Again.
you really want to switch out the motor for some spark plugs?
Yeah.
Like,
You're
like-
always gonna have somebody at least giving you a little buffer, like, hey, you might want to review that, or you might want to review it before you go ahead and follow through with this, or hey, the customer said yes.
Oh,
And you better make sure that fixes the car, because if you don't fix the car, that's when you're the bad guy and you're gonna get written up for that.
I mean, sometimes you do have to get a second opinion. Remember, we're all out there to make money. That's the truth. Whether it be the dealer, whether it be a small shop, we're here to make money. The dealer usually recommends all of this stuff. That doesn't.
And yeah, Shadow, I agree with that. When it comes to repairs, if it's like if your vehicle is getting a warranty repair, obviously you have to go to the dealer. Because you can't get a warranty repair done at smaller garages. But 100%, I would say I would recommend going to if you need a serious repair, I would go to like an independently owned garage. And one that has a good review and a good standing in the community. Because the independent garages, generally speaking, seem to care infinitely more about doing a good job and doing a proper job than the dealerships or the big chains, the big service chains seem to do. The service chains, they're just assembly line. They're in and out as fast as they can. Whereas the small mechanics, smaller business, smaller overhead, they're going to actually take time to figure something out and make sure you get the proper fix and do it right. A local car show, maybe. The problem with going to a local car show and asking around is usually the local car show we're talking high performance vehicles, which may not be appropriate for your average car. And going to a mechanic that normally works in high performance vehicles, he or she might charge more than your average mechanic. Your best bet is to maybe ask around, check Google. Because Google reviews will help. Yeah, I mean, Ace, when I lived in the where I used to live, if I ever needed my car work done, there was this one shop. Technically, they started off as a Midas repair shop, but then they went independent. I always took my vehicle to them because they always treated me well. They always did right. They told me what I needed and if it was something I didn't need to worry about, they flat out said, you don't need to worry about this.
Doesn't mean you have to do it. It sucks because you're going by what they're saying, but they could give you a book, right, Juanito? They could give you a book, and it's up to you if you want to buy the whole Harry Potter book. They give you a big list.
And now for a Mechanic Minute brought to you by Valvoline. Today, we'll show you how to change your oil. Sandro, where do we start?
First thing you want to do is get this bad boy off the floor. I'm lucky I have a lift, but if you don't, make sure you put jack stands under and be safe, put it in the right points so this bad boy doesn't fall on you or move.
And once you get your car off the ground, first thing you want to do is locate the drain bowl. Then get you a pan or some sort of catch can and put it underneath because that's where all the oil is going to be dumping. And make sure you drain it completely.
Now, don't forget, let this bad boy cool down a little bit because you don't want to burn yourself.
Hot oil. After all the oil is drained, put your drain bolt back in.
So the next thing you're gonna do is change the oil filter. And using a special tool, whatever your car needs. But have an oil pan next to you, just in case it drips a little bit, because it does. And then you install the oil filter.
After draining the old oil, put the drain plug back in, remove your oil filler cap, drop in a funnel, and pour in your new oil. We're using Valvoline's Restore and Protect. It's the first and only motor oil to remove up to 100% of deposits with continuous use.
Sponsored!
Next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna check the oil dipstick, make sure the levels are right. Check it out. Gucci. And now, let's turn it on.
Same thing. Remember the last Mechanics React video we saw? You don't want to put too much oil in there because remember what happened with the last Mechanics React we watched, where the oil got in everywhere. That's a key thing to remember.
Let's see if we have any leaks under it.
Yeah, Shadow. Yeah, and you know what? Even though it's probably sponsored, they're being educational. And I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that they're actually doing a little bit of education.
That is how you change your oil. To learn more about Valvoline's Restore and Protect motor oil, click the link below.
Next clip.
Yet another Kia. This time the customer brought it to us because the dealer messed it up.
What the hell is all this? What the fuck is this? I don't know. Let's find out.
And now after they drilled the block twice and didn't clean it out, and they put in what seems to be 9 bottles of head gasket sealer, there's no way we're rebuilding this one.
Somebody f***ed up.
There's no way. It looks like somebody just tried to flag some hours without actually doing the work.
Oh,
If that's what I was able to hear from that audio, they put, head gasket sealer at the dealer.
No, yeah.
Yeah, somebody was just trying to flag some hours and then just get this car out of the shop.
That's kind of like maybe he f***ed up or something like.
Did I hear in the message right? Like they basically killed the engine. They killed the engine. Like that car now needs a whole new engine apparently. If I'm understanding what that video is saying, there's no way to rebuild it. It's got to come out. Like that customer is gonna be going back to that Kia dealership and is gonna be saying, "You owe me a new car." Shadowpaw. That is a lawsuit. That is 100% a lawsuit. And that customer is now getting a new car from that a brand new car from that Kia dealership. So, win? I don't know. But holy shit.
Form of like, he didn't know what he was doing.
It could be anything. It could be anything. They're just trying to be dishonest. It's the fastest way I could say it.
That's a quick repair, right?
Yeah.
So they're not supposed to do that at the dealership, right?
No.
You guys are not allowed to do that?
No, I don't know how they work at the low end, at the entry level vehicles, sorry.
Kia. Have you ever f***ed up in the dealer and not told them and let it go out like that? Like let the car just, it's not gonna be a big deal,
At the dealership, unfortunately, there's always a snitch. There's always a mole, so no. Unfortunately, no. Next clip.
Today you came in with the check engine light. And a concern that there's no boost. After looking at the vehicle, I found heavy modifications done to it. From the blow-off valve here, which is controlled by said boost, this intercooler, piping,
Silicone piping.
all of this needs to be returned to stock for a Subaru trained technician to repair this.
Yep.
Or look at it further.
Yep.
That being said, your service writer will talk to you more. Thank you.
That fool said heavily modded. Wow, I was like waiting for like a big turbo.
Yeah, so was I. Said heavily modded. I was like, what the fuck? Like I don't grasp everything that he was saying, but it's basically just. Why, Eki, what did you see that I missed that like, because I'm not seeing like heavy modifications going on here. I don't know. But like one thing that yeah, Kaiser, I was thinking the same thing. I'm guessing it's like a couple of the parts are technically these coats were different materials than what it should be, or I suspect it may be more of something like this. Like one thing I've always heard about Subarus, okay, back to music inside. I'll back it up to here. All right.
And a concern that there's no boost. After looking at the vehicle, I found heavy modifications done to it. From the blow-off valve here, which is controlled by said boost, this intercooler, piping,
Silicone piping.
all of this needs to be returned to stock for a Subaru trained technician to repair this.
Yep.
Or look at it further.
Yep.
That being said, your service writer will talk to you more. Thank you.
Did I pause it at the right spot for you, Eki? Because one thing that I've always been under the impression of when it comes to Subarus, no one wants to work on them. No mechanic wants to work on them. Because apparently okay. About here? From what I have heard, yeah, like that Subarus, the way Subaru builds their cars, the only way for them to be serviced, like no regular mechanic wants to work on them because of the way they put them together, and that you kind of for any work you kind of need to go to a Subaru dealership. Like a Subaru dealership is the only one that will work on like a Subaru car because of the way they're put together. No other dealership will work on them, I don't think. And I think private mechanics, unless they specialize or know about Subarus, I was always given the impression that regular mechanics won't work on a Subaru because of the way they're put together. They're just a nightmare to try and work with. So that's what I've always heard. Then I don't know. Well, yeah, Albert, I mean, like what this mechanic's saying is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll go into it a bit more afterwards and explain it, but I don't get it. The only thing I can think of is that they just don't want to work on a Subaru because a Subaru is a bitch to work on. That's it.
Yep.
Or look at it further.
Yep.
That being said, your service writer will talk to you more. Thank you.
That fool said heavily modded. Wow, I was like waiting for like a big turbo.
Reverse clock turbo sitting on the top,
something crazy.
So basically, at the dealership side now, me as a technician, vehicle comes in and it has anything in there that's not factory is deemed not factory, not warrantable. Anything on it, an air filter would cause it, depending how picky the tech is. But yes, it is very true. If they see any modifications, they will deem it not warrantable, and they'll flag your car on the back end too.
So you would see a baby hose on there like this modded. Would you be that guy? Would you be that guy? Be like, oh.
Rich? Doing good.
Oh, this Mercedes is modded up.
I am out of that dealership scenario now, so I could openly say, yeah. Why? Because you have to see it on the other side also. You're the technician. You have this car that's been modified. The customer's playing with the vehicle. You don't want to be doing warranty work for something that somebody's messing with.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean...
Yeah, but if the car comes...
Okay, and Eki, it's fun. I think what we're getting at is the parts in question that he was pointing out were not stock parts. That's what I think that they're talking about. That's the feeling I'm getting here, is that those two parts that mechanic pointed out were not stock Subaru parts, and that's what he was classifying as quote-unquote heavily modified. Yeah, using generic parts or using aftermarket parts. But here's the question, and let me back this up because I want to find out something here. Hang on, I want to find out something. Let me hear something here.
I'm concerned that there's no...
Next clip.
Today you came in with a check engine light. I'm concerned that there's no boost. After looking at the vehicle, I found heavy modifications done to it. From the blow-off valve here, which is controlled by said boost, this intercooler, piping.
Silicone piping.
All of this needs to be returned to stock for a Subaru trained technician to repair this.
Yep.
Or look at it further.
Yep.
That being said, your service writer will talk to you more. Thank you.
What?
So, what I'm wondering is, here's the problem. This mechanic was saying this. Was this a warranty service repair? Because if this was not a warranty service, there's no fucking reason not to fix the fucking car. So I have to assume that the mechanic was saying that because the car was brought to them under the auspice of a warranty repair. And based on what these guys are saying. So that's probably why that's what they're probably talking about. Is the owner had, I guess maybe went to a local mechanic to get those two parts fixed for whatever reason or replaced for whatever reason. They did not use Subaru stock parts. And so now Subaru is not going to do what I'm guessing is a warranty fix. Based on everything being said, I'm guessing that's the kicker, which is why we're so confused. Like, what the fuck's the problem? I'm guessing it was supposed to be a warranty fix, but because it's non-stock parts, they're not going to fix it, and they're going to deem it out of warranty fix.
Vehicle comes in, and it has anything in that's not factory, is deemed the tech is. But yes, it is very true. If they see any modifications, they will deem it not warrantable, and they'll flag your car on the back end too.
So you would see a baby hose on there, like this modded. Would you be that guy? Would you be that guy? They're like, this Mercedes is modded up.
I'm to be honest. If, when you're in a position where it's your job, and if you don't say anything, you can get dinged or potentially fired. Yeah, I could see him even for a single hose if the dealership is that stringent, or if the car company is that stringent about it. You kind of have to, because let's face it, it's your job, it's your ass. So, yeah, you want to help the customer out, but you're not helping the customer by getting fired. So, I would not fault that dealer mechanic if he said, yeah, it's a non-factory hose. It's a non-OEM hose or non-OEM part, and it happens. I wouldn't fault the mechanic for that. I'd fault the car company for being having such a stick shoved so far up their ass it's tickling their brain, but I wouldn't fault the mechanic.
I am out of that.
And by the way, Santa Claus, who says it's new? Factory warranties can go for 5 to 10 years depending upon the car. And who knows, maybe they needed to have a fix put on the car when they couldn't get it into a dealership for the fix. So it's not necessarily a brand new car, it's just still under warranty. That's all. And sometimes, you're in a situation where if your car breaks down, you have to get it fixed. Sometimes you have to do what you gotta do just to get the damn car back on the road. But I don't like how the dealer, if that's the situation, you're not fucked. So it's like, okay, either walk 100 miles or get your car towed 100 miles to get it to the dealer, or just get the fucking thing fixed and you're paying out of your own pocket. Well, again, Shadow, it's they, again, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know the circumstances of that particular car, and it could be a situation where they had to get the fix done because they were nowhere near a dealership, so they had to get that fix done at the time. And now that the engine light's on, they're gonna go take it and get warranty work. They're not trying to be duplicitous or anything. It's just, they may very well have had to get that fixed because they had to get the fix. And something cropped up, so they, because the check engine light, the problem may not be equated to those parts. That's the thing. We don't even know if the diagnostics showed that the problem with the vehicle is equated to those two parts. Yeah, we're harping. You're right, Eki. We're harping on this a bit too long. Let's move on.
Dealerships in arenas that I could openly say, yeah. Why? Because you have to see it on the other side also. Mm-hmm. You're the technician. You have this car that's been modified. The customer's playing with the vehicle. You don't want to be doing warranty work for something that somebody's messing with.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean...
Yeah, but if the car comes back, it's your responsibility now. The car came back blown up. The car came back with now another check engine light. Guess what? Now we're talking about the other stuff that happens on the background.
It's like a dad that gives you a toy and says, don't play with it. Don't play with your cars when you buy it from the dealer.
Next clip.
Dealerships be This is what happens when you take stuff to the dealer to get diagnosed. Mm-hmm. We took this one to the Kia dealer, and they told us that the fuel rail pressure sensor was needing to be replaced. That's this little guy right here.
Right.
Only $130 for that part. Problem is, they call for between 7 and 8 hours labor for this, because they say the entire intake manifold has to come off to be able to access the sensor, which is set just behind it. Turns out, all you got to do is pop off the alternator, just 2 bolts, and with a 1 16th inch socket, you can stick it right up in there on the sensor. And you have easy access to pop the sensor right out.
How long did it take him? I mean, he's not even done yet.
Only took me 30 minutes.
Not yet.
Dealer wanted to charge $800.
That's one that I'm gonna go totally against, and I'm gonna fight that guy all the way through on that one. But okay.
Okay, I'm hoping he expounds upon that, because I'd like to hear why he would go against the guy for this. I do want to hear this.
Let's hear it.
At the end of the day, we live in an age where YouTube and there's a bunch of guys out there leaking out information on how to do all these things.
RMS and Donut. What's up with you guys?
All right, so he's not going to go into. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess, because the reason why he said he would fight him on that is because I'm guessing there's something more than just, there's some I'm guessing there may be some checks involved to ensure that the part is installed correctly, that the part is functioning correctly, and it's not simply just pop off the alternator, unscrew the sensor, screw it back in, and you're done. My guess is that was probably going to be... Will he explain a bit? Okay, I will be done. I thought they were getting ready to move on. Let's explain some more.
And then?
So when they initially set up this, I don't know Kia. I don't know how their manufacturing works or how their labor times work. But a lot of times when it's this, they have to take in part diagnostic. So it's not just replacing this item. Everything has a labor line behind it. So there's a reason behind that. It's not just simply replacing this.
Let's just say in their programming it says take off the intake manifold, take off this, take off that.
That's what to follow it.
So they have to follow those steps. Maybe yes, there's gonna be people down the line that do learn shortcuts and learn this, but if that's what the dealer is saying, then that's what they're gonna do.
It's not like there's shortcuts there and you're able to do shortcuts. Why? There's always a mall, the dealer. Oh.
You're cool because you figured it out, but I'm pretty sure it didn't take you 30 minutes. I'm mad now. Juanito, give me next clip, dude.
Next.
All right, so it's, I mean, yeah, so he explained is they're checking the boxes, but the thing I'd be curious about is the reasoning behind all those check boxes. Yeah, Shadow, that is my suspicion. There's more to it than just what the guy in the video did. There is a reason behind all those. Well, I don't know. But I suspect that there's all those steps they have to take. I feel like there's some kind of a reasoning behind it. Like there are some checks that need to be made, either before or after the work is done. I don't know. Channel, I'm guessing that may be true. And again, here's the thing. It's what they were just talking about there was not doesn't sound like it was a warranty fix. So, you know, when it comes to non-warranty fixes, hi donuts. When it comes to non-warranty fixes, I'm repeating myself. Don't go to a dealership for non-warranty fixes. Find like an actual mechanic place that actually, that knows what they're doing and is not worried about a corporation's bottom line. That's it. Good. I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, I'm gonna be repeating myself.
Clip.
So you just bought your Supra, and they're pulling it out for you. Oh yeah, that's my car. Nice. No ice. Oh.
Oh shit. Oh god. Was that the front end or the back end? We need to see that again, chat. We need to see that again. Okay, ready?
Oh yeah, that's my car. Nice. No ice. Oh.
Well, it was my car.
He says, well, it was my car.
That sucks. Like you just bought a bad car and they scratch you right there in the spot. What?
Was that it? Did he scratch it or did he bottom it out? I couldn't really tell. Could you tell what he did? I thought he bottomed it out. Cause that's what it sounded like. It sounded like when it went over that like. Yeah. Well, either that sounded or a new car. Let's see.
Well,
no ice. Oh.
Yeah, the corner of the table right there. Yeah, okay, I see. They pan past it so fast I couldn't see it. It was the corner of that table. Oh. Although. No, he stopped it really fast. And that's a plastic table. It may not have scratched it. Maybe. It may have scuffed the paint, in which case, yeah, brand new car. Fuck it. I'm getting a new car. It's possible it may not have, but I could certainly understand why you just bought this new car. Well, I think the loudness was the feet of the table scraping against the ground when the car pushed it. I think that was that loud sound. And that's my suspicion anyway. Granted, I wouldn't fault the customer at all, saying, yeah, I'm not taking this car now, you're getting me a different one. I wouldn't fault the customer at all for that. But, yeah. But it's a Toyota. Shadow, it's a Toyota Supra.
Well, it was my car.
He says, well, it was my car.
That sucks. Like you just bought a bad car and they scratch you right there in the spot. What? Juanito.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
how many times have you
me no
done it? Juanito, how many times have you scratched a new car coming out?
Usually as a tech, you mess up a car, you're getting fired.
Oh.
9 times out of 10, you're getting fired.
Ow.
The sale can drop, but then again, there's a lot of variables there too. What I have to tell you is, why the hell wasn't the spotter letting him know that he was gonna smack it? You see he has a spotter there?
Because he's probably like a little Juanito, letting it run.
No,
I mean, I'm sorry.
no.
I'm playing. I'm playing. He's mad. I'm just playing around. I'm playing.
If the manager's pissed off, yeah, he'll fire everybody that was involved. Off with their heads.
On to the next clip.
That time the coworker put the Tesla in play mode. In the parking lot.
Me.
Ooh.
You good, yo? Like, for real?
You good? Wow.
What the fuck? In high volt. Holy shit. We gotta see that again. I wasn't sure what they. Hang on.
He's mad. I'm just playing around. I'm playing.
If the manager's pissed off, yeah, he'll fire everybody that was involved. Off with their heads.
On to the next clip.
I didn't realize. No shit. Someone's getting. I didn't know that time coworker put the Tesla in plaid mode. I didn't understand it at first until I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? And it's like, holy shit! Like, I'm thinking he was testing the zero.
Oh, hello. Tysler 4 gifted a tier 1 subscription to Volt Chaos.
Thank you, Tysel. And Volt, make sure you say thank you. I'm guessing that this guy probably was testing the 0 to 60. Because because if it's a Tesla, they talk about how fast you can go 0 to 60. Yeah. Well, funny thing. So, okay, this is way off topic. But in Elite Dangerous, recently, I think I may have mentioned this, Elite Dangerous came out with new frame shift drives, new hyper drives called SCO drives. And what that allows for is when you are in Super Cruise, where basically you are traveling essentially at light speed, you can now do what's called a Super Cruise overcharge. And what that is basically a Super Cruise boost, which means you're flying at light speed, you have full control, you're good to go. You hit the Super Cruise boost, all of a sudden your speed goes to 100 in 0.5 seconds, and your ship starts rocking all over the place. If you want an example of this, and if you have any inkling to understand what I'm talking about, do a YouTube search for Elite Dangerous SEO. You'll probably see a bunch of examples. But you basically just go insane speeds. When I'm doing a rescue on the fuel rats, and if I'm doing an emergency code red rescue, and I need to use the Super Cruise boost to get to a client really fast because they are 10,000 light seconds away from me, so I need to hit the Super Cruise boost and get to them fast, my report will actually be Beacon Plus 10K light seconds going plaid. Because and that's how I'm telling my dispatcher I'm hitting the Super Cruise boost so they know not to leave the person in. I'll actually use the expression going plaid when I hit the Super Cruise boost. So, way off topic and very sci-fi nerdy, but I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
That time the coworker put the Tesla in play mode. In a park.
Yeah, I'm guessing he probably was testing the 0 to 60. And it's plaid, dude, not played. It's plaid. This is a man who's probably, he may have worn plaid.
In the parking lot.
Me.
Ooh.
Wow.
You good, yo? Like, for real?
You good? Wow. At this point, it's you're fired, obviously.
That's really irresponsible.
I initially did use ludicrous speed, and then I said, fuck it, go plaid. Because it's faster to type, because, when I'm trying to fly and type at the same time. I initially said ludicrous speed, and then I just said, I'm going plaid.
And that level of damage for that car and all the other cars launching the car in a parking lot.
What is plate mode? 'Cause I don't even know what the that is.
Plaid mode.
Plaid. You know,
has that ever happened at the Mercedes dealership where like somebody takes out a Mercedes GT?
Albert, I think it said, was it 300? I thought it said 100K, not 300K. I thought it said 100, but maybe I was misreading it.
And just spins out and crashes it?
There's always, I'm not gonna say.
No, we almost had him. We almost had him. You saw that, guys? You know, we almost had him. He was about to be like, well, there's a guy named Pancho right here. And then I remember.
It was 300K? Okay, I had trouble seeing it. Okay, Shadowclaw. And, Paradox Ghost Form. Thank you for the follow.
And imagine that's a customer's car and you took it out.
And by the way, chat, no relation.
You're not allowed to take the car outside?
You're only allowed to take the vehicle, and to be specific, we were always scorned that due to insurance purposes, we could only make rights even in a road test.
Also, like you're going back into the dealership.
Yeah.
Right.
So you see, right, back into the dealership.
How's it right into McDonald's, right out of McDonald's?
Great, I am not a mechanic. I am not a mechanic. Please do not think I'm a mechanic. I am not. I have some knowledge about like cars. I am not a mechanic. Please don't think I am. I'm probably know about as much as your average person. So and Paradox, I'm glad you found us. Hope you enjoyed yourself. What idea? Were you talking about my story that I was talking about with Elite Dangerous? That's a game. That's not the mechanic. I like cars and driving just fine. And I certainly have an appreciation for like the classics. I certainly have an appreciation for it.
As long as it has a right turn, you'll be good.
And right back to the dealership.
But yeah. Next clip.
It looks like we have some hydrophobics.
Oh.
This is the ceramic coating from the dealership, but we're going to put it through a torture test. We're going to show you why it's not a legitimate ceramic coating. Ceramic coating is a hardened form of protection. We're going to use some super clean here. It should be resistant to this. Coatings are chemically resistant. So we're going to put this all over the surface. We go back through and we start to rinse. And this driver's side panel, the hydrophobics are already gone. We've already killed the coating because, let's be honest, it's not a coating. It's just a sealant.
I mean, let's be real. It's some of the they sell you is bull. Am I right, Juanito? Sometimes, like, let's just say, I feel like I'm putting my boy on blast, but it's like you go to the dealer and they tell you, well, guess what? We could powder coat your rims, and somebody in the back just rattle canning your right? And then they say, you know what? We could wrap it with this coating that'll protect it from the sun, a hawk landing on it, or some bum just on your car. It's gonna protect it. At the end of the day, it's all.
They also offer it for interiors, and it's also.
And like the hydrophobic coating, I remember when the whole concept of the hydrophobic coating like came out, when they were like touting it. It was I originally heard about it for like deck sealant. It was like a hydrophobic paint that you could apply to your deck that would basically, if water hits it, it essentially runs away. But the problem is, like all this hydrophobic stuff that I saw advertised, the problem is it wore off really quickly. Not from water, but just from like anything else touching it, it would like it would rub off. So I don't think I've ever heard of any hydrophobic coating that actually has any kind of staying power. But yeah, it's, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
What you said.
All of a sudden, you just want to say it.
I'm gonna openly say that this is probably gonna be something from like sales.
You see some guys at the dealer, they're all lined up and with their beard,
wearing
and
suits,
hair to the side, and it's like perfect, man, like Hugo. You're like, dang, you smell juicy, my dude. And then you buy this for no reason. You know what? Let me sell you guys some other and the next clip too.
2017 F-150. Customer brought it in because he said the left rear brake was locking up while turning. So the pads look perfectly fine. Looking at the rotor, something's been rubbing outside the rotor. And when I got to noticing was the caliper bridge had marks from the rotor, indicating this wheel is coming in and out. The only way that can happen is
axle broke.
If your C-clip's missing. And upon further inspection, looking, the axle's actually broke.
Yeah.
Never seen that happen before.
They've been having some issues like this. I actually saw a TSB when we're looking at, sometimes I look at new TSBs and there is one out from Ford for the axles. So this is a failure that's out there.
Yeah, but I mean,
I wonder if this is going to turn into a recall. If they're seeing a lot of axle breaks like this, so I wonder, I could see this turning into a recall. If the, that'd be the next step, I guess. Now, we don't know when the video took place, so anybody that's got a Ford F-150, if you heard, from that year or something, if you heard if there was a recall for the axle. Because if it's a widespread issue, that usually turns into a recall pretty quickly.
He's talking about
this is a manufacturer defect,
Yeah, sometimes when you buy these used auction cars, you gotta check the recalls.
Every single vehicle that comes in, it has a gross profit that
10 or 11 recalls? Jesus, man. Holy shit. That's like... That's like, stop making the damn car, Ford, if you're gonna have 10 or 11 recalls on it. Jesus. Haha, get wrecked. Yeah, Paradox, you're not wrong. A lot of people feel that way, and it's because, like, with new vehicles, there's so much reliance upon computers. There's so much reliance upon the computers in the vehicles, and computer technology is so spread throughout and dependent that things can fail. Yeah, things can fail so much easier. That's why I know a lot of mechanics much prefer having the older cars that didn't have anywhere near the computer tech and digital technology crammed into them, because it's if there's a failure, it's a lot easier to fix, and it stays fixed for much longer. Yep. Well, it's simple mechanical logistics. The more complicated something is, the more likely it is going to fail in one or multiple ways. If you have something that functions much more simply, far less chance of there something going wrong with it. It's just simple logistics.
The vehicle needs to make. What ends up happening is you have to give them an estimate. How much is it going to cost to fix this unit? If it exceeds the amount that you were...
Nothing. Not Murphy's Law, Albert. It's more, like I said, okay. Think about it. If you have a simple turn crank mechanism, very simple turn crank mechanism, that's got 3 different parts. Like, you've got the crank, you've got the gear, you've got the whatever on the other end that moves because of the turn crank. You have 3 parts there. So it's going to be, you only have 3 things that can go wrong there, and for generally speaking, because there's only 3 components, it's generally speaking going to be more reliable because of it. If you take that simple turn crank mechanism and you start adding even more bends and twists, even more gears, and you add a computer to monitor how well the crank is turning, and sensors at each position, it's far more likely that something in that amalgamation of crap in that machine is going to go wrong versus the much more basic 3-piece mechanical, purely mechanical device. So the more crap you add into a device, the higher chance of something going wrong. Even if it doesn't break, it may, a sensor may fail, and so it's saying, oh, this has gone wrong. And that's what I mean. There's a much higher likelihood of something breaking the more complicated you make it. Yeah, simple means it's probably more robust in nature and much easier to fix.
Told that you can't surpass, auction. You end up with this.
Cars are weird. Cars are pain. Go get a shirt. Next clip.
All right, this video is for all you dealers out there. This is a single mother. She just bought this CLA hoping it was going to be a good car. She had a check engine light. Look at that. I mean, come on, guys.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name of the dealer. But, like, really? You guys didn't see that? Her brakes were down to the metal. She's got mismatched tires all the way around. All the fender liners are missing. And then besides that, her rear tires are not even the same sizes. And then this tire right here in the front.
Let's go to 245.
It's completely bald.
Damn, what's up with that
Oh my
sidewalk, baby?
And she paid top dollar for this.
It's a Mercedes, obviously, but is it a used dealer?
That would be a really good question.
Because I don't think a dealer.
Yeah, that's because based on the side, like you saw the side look kind of torn up a little bit. Those rims look torn up a little bit. Yeah, here's the question. He's asking the right question. Is this a used dealership? Because I can't see that being a new dealership. Like mismatched tires, the liner, the hose, the brakes. Granted, bearing in mind, even a used dealership should not have these problems. You know, even a used dealership should be inspecting every vehicle that comes through there and making sure that it's in good shape. Should have all proper tires on it. Should have brand new brakes in the fucking thing. So even a used car dealership should be checking these things. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly, Blade. That's what I'm saying. Even if it's a used dealership, all of that is unacceptable, even at a used dealership. Because it's the rims look like they were pretty rough. So I mean, I don't know what the hell happened there. That is a lawsuit. Exactly, Paradox. That is a lawsuit for sure. Yeah, I mean, paying top dollar, that's an expression that has that can have multiple meanings behind it. So, who knows what quote unquote, paying top dollar means. But 100%, that's a lawsuit on that deal for selling her a Len. Absolute.
Dealer will let
it wouldn't pass. That safety.
Wouldn't pass. The tires itself.
It wouldn't pass safety. There's a minimum.
I mean, look at those rims. Look at how chewed up those fucking rims are. Like, unless this was like a real shitty, stereotypical used car dealership where they're all slimy scumbags, which they're selling a Mercedes. I don't know. That also begs the question. This also does beg the question. How honest is this customer? And I'm not saying anything one way or another. A customer can tell a mechanic anything. A customer can bring their car to a mechanic and tell them anything. And if this woman brought this mechanic a car and said, I just got this from the dealer and I paid top dollar for it, and if I was in that mechanic's shoes and I saw mismatched tires, mismatched wheels, missing liner, dual cracked, I guess that was an air intake. brakes rubbing on metal, etc. Like all that. And she's telling me I just got this from a dealer. I personally would be very suspicious. I would personally be very suspicious about what this woman just told me. Because like I said, even a used car dealership would be checking all of this. Every issue that this mechanic is pointing out, a used car dealership would be checking this. So I would be very suspicious about what this woman is telling me. And who knows, maybe these guys will come to the same conclusion. Well, Albert, that's the thing. Is it a shady dealership or is it a shady customer? Because as much as I would love to believe the woman that's telling him this, who's to say she didn't slap on different tires and, run her brakes till they grind and everything and bring it to this mechanic, say, hoping that he would take pity on her and give her some kind of a deal. So yeah, this is why I'm very suspicious. The totality of everything has me questioning the validity of what you say. Not to mention, depending on how long ago she purchased the vehicle, even used cars do have a limited warranty, typically somewhere between 30 to 90 days. Typically speaking, when you buy a vehicle from a used car dealer, and if you don't purchase any extended warranty if it's available, typically speaking, you will have 30 to 90 days, somewhere in that neighborhood, after you purchase a vehicle from a used car dealer to bring it back to them, saying, hey, something's fucked up. So, granted, we don't know how long, she didn't say how long she had the car. But something is definitely not adding up here. And my suspicion is high in terms of customer.
Millimeters that you need to have on the tires, it wouldn't pass.
And a little more baller dealer wouldn't leave that wheel all scuffed up. And then obviously
the charge
pipes are blown.
Well, it's the intake.
Yeah, they're broken.
Pipe. Yeah.
They're broken, and once again, a dealer usually does do what they call as a full cleanup. They will clean the engine bay like crazy because they want everything to look nice and shiny. And this one looks like it didn't even get washed. For the people out there, what do they have to check when they're gonna buy a used car or a new car from a dealer or from anywhere?
Most people, if they don't know what to look for, they wouldn't be able to look at. Or what they could look at, just pay somebody to go out and inspect the vehicle for them and be able to do.
Well, Ace, that's the thing. If she bought it as is, she has no room to complain. But, there was no mention of being bought as is. So, again, that's why I suspect that the customer may not be being honest. And yeah, a private used car sale, like if they're talking about from an individual, is not always great either. Because if you're buying from a dealership, they're supposed to inspect it, typically speaking. And if something goes wrong, you can have the dealer do something about it. Buying it from an individual, now it's on not only do you have to get it fixed, but it's on your dime to take them to court about it. So, buying privately is not always a good thing. It can be, but not always. Yeah, Shadow, if you're buying from someone who clearly cares about the vehicle, like they are a mechanic themselves and they were working on like a car as a hobby or something and they decide to sell it, that would be I would say you could feel rather confident in purchasing a vehicle from that individual. Yeah, it all depends on the person. It does.
Do all these things. That would be my recommendation there. It's like
this one right here, that will scare you. These repairs are expensive, my guys.
Expensive.
They're not cheap.
That would be an auction car.
Juanito, it was awesome having you here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys.
You know what? We need to get the cars ready. Because Angie and Steph are talking. RMS, baby. Deuces.
Well, that was definitely interesting. It kind of cringeworthy, but interesting. Yeah, Shadow. It's yeah. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking that customer of that mechanic was not being honest. I have a strong suspicion that customer was not being honest with that mechanic.